Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for the 22nd of November. We've got two counts, both bullish in a way. We have this low here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then extension in the fifth wave here. And if that's the case, then we'll see a move much lower towards the 3,000 in that case. The count that I prefer though is on the 4-hour chart here. I'll just bring this into perspective. So there's a couple of ways to count this up here as well. We can look at 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, looking for the A, the B and the C back into this space here, and then moving up from that point. The 2-hour chart, I think I've got slightly different count. Yeah, this is a different count here of a series of 1s and 2s, so 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2, and all the way up for 3 and 4. So there's not much difference, just different count scenario in this area through here. And I like this one a lot as well. So the things here to consider is that we have a move that can take us from the top here back down into group 2 here, and we'll use these 3072 as our target area here. And if this group 2 here becomes the resistance here, then we'll look to go further down. The other point too is that when we're looking at correction, so the market's moved up, this move back down here, we look at that as wave A. So wave A is normally quite sharp, and then we look at wave B, and then in a correction wave C is on a little bit more of an angle. So if we see this here play out here on more of an angle here, then we'll know that it's corrective. If it comes down sharper here, then we'll know it's a third wave. And that means that if it's a third wave, we know that we'll probably be coming much lower than that. So that's one way to look at it. So we'll be looking at the count and also the personality of the structure. So on the 1-hour chart where we've got our trade, so we've got the top of the third wave here, we've got short trade here, we've got stop here, and we're looking at this down. I'm going to assume this is 5 waves here, even though we get an overlapping wave structure in here. This appears to be corrective here. We'll look at this in a bit more detail, and the market can push up into here a little bit higher here before folding over here. However, it may not do that. It may just run out of steam in here in 5 waves and then drop. So we want to be prepared for that. So we're going to do a half trade just above this minor trading level 1 here, and then we're also going to have one under this full trade here under this once the 3,100 becomes, or if it becomes, the retested resistance at that point. We'll go into the tick chart here and have a sort of a closer look at all of this. So I've labeled this down here as 1 and 2 and 3 here. A problem with wave 4 because it overlaps wave 1. So we could look at this as an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here. There's another way we could look at it as well, but I won't go into that. So yeah, I don't think that this it could be labeled an A and a B and a C here, but I'd still want to call it an A wave here. And the reason for that is that I know this is 5 waves here. We've got a corrective move here. The thing is that this move in here doesn't count as 5 waves. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for an A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 5 waves in here for the third, fourth and fifth here. So we've got a corrective move here. Yes, I suppose it could be wave 1 here and then an A and a B and a C here for wave 2, but it makes it, for wave 2, it makes this A, B, C here rather, well, much bigger than wave 1 here. We don't want that. We want wave 1 to be that size there, and the corrective move as wave 2 to be, around the 40% mark in terms of sort of amplitude, I guess. So we're going to run with this here being an A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave here, and then we're looking for 5 waves up here. So I've looked at this little structure so far, and I can count it in different ways here. It will have resistance. In fact, it's getting support on at 61.8% here, which is good news for higher ground here. So this is the 61.8%. So it's come up and reacted to it, and arrived here, reacted, first high above the level. So it's wingling its way across here. So what we could do is between, well, this top and this low, this number here, the 5 here, would be critically important here as a level. So we can just, well, what we do is we'll just put this in here. And the reason for putting it in is because you'll be able to see in due course if that becomes, or the number 5 here becomes the support or the resistance, giving it a bit of time. So like I said, there's different ways to count this up, but it should go up a bit higher up into this space and then roll over. So yeah, so we're going to go short below this one, and we're also going to go short below this one. This one cannot be breached at this point. So that's a signal at that point, even though the market will come down and bounce off this level here again, but just accommodate that and just, yeah, work with it. So technically we should get a move the distance of this here, we should get this. Can't bring that over there, so it doesn't really matter, but the length of this here will be roughly the length of this wave C over here that we'll be looking for in 5 waves. So we'll be taking, depending on the angle of this, as I mentioned, if it moves down really fast, like this here, then we won't be taking profit here. We're going to look for another short trade once this area becomes the 72 becomes the resistance here. The Nasdaq's a little bit the same as well. A little bit tricky to count this down here in 5 waves here, but the same thing, short here, we've got the stop here. We can also go short. This looks highly corrective here, so we can go short from that point. Once this gets triggered in as a short trade here, then we can bring the stop down to just above the 8,300 here. So yeah, all good at that point. So yeah, it's all working out very nicely. Okay, cheers.